And it's recording now. Okay, so, go time. And no, I'm not going to announce what I'm doing like I normally would, because... lol. I also just realized, some of these capsules, the Kerbals can't actually get in and out of, and I'm not sure if this is... I'm not sure if they can actually get in or out of this, so that's a possible issue.
I mean, it looks like he's got a hatch on the side, so...
Is that the hatch that's, like, covered, though? Because if that's the hatch that's covered, all I can do is put them in a pod. Gosh, I forgot how horrible this plane is at taking off. I mean, look at this.
What, you mean before you added a giant carbon column to the top?
I mean, the thrust-to-weight ratio is 0.38 now. I don't know what it was before, but yeah, that extra mass is definitely hampering its ability to take off. However, that does mean that we will fly at a very low speed, meaning landing should be safer, easier, a bit slower to get there, but I'm less likely to... Less destructive, less likely to overshoot. What is that? Is that... Oh! What? Why is it showing as a ship? I thought the cockpit was destroyed and everyone died. Did I say that out loud?
Yes, you did.
Beautiful. I'm sure it's fine.
Shouldn't it be, losing some height?
I suppose. Also, possibly some speed, but who's counting, really? Actually, I definitely should be losing both more speed and more height. See, I've decided the way to target this for landing is that because I have a vector that's telling me exactly where I'm at relative to the target, like where I'm pointing and where my flight path is going, right now it's pretty close to lined up on the target, but I need to land sooner than the target, or else I'm literally going to run into them and kill them.
I wasn't going to mention that, but yeah, that's a legit concern.
To be fair, that seems to be what I'm most good at for this entire playthrough, with the number of planes I've crashed into basically the same area.
I think anyone can see that from the debris field.
Well, let's just hide those. There we go. See? Now it looks much cleaner. Much cleaner, and also harder to avoid running into things because you can't see shit now. I've also cut the engines entirely, but we're not slowing down enough, and I'm hitting the ground a little harder than I intended, but we're okay. And I'm gonna go ahead and turn that back on just so I can see how close to running them over I am. I'm a bit closer to running them over than I intended. But this thing can steer on the ground really well, and it can drift to a stop better than it can stop properly, which is kind of funny. Anyhow, I'm actually gonna get us a little closer to the what remains of the FA-18.
I think it's only about an F-11 by this point.
Nope, I did not mean to focus on this, although apparently this is what's qualifying as a ship still. There's no command module on this or anything like at all, but for some reason it's qualifying this as a ship instead of debris. You will be rescued next. See, look, EVA unavailable until it loads the person, which sucks because that means that... oh yeah, and it's Winnie! Yeah, so Winnie's still alive! And fell straight off the side. But I'm sure she's fine. She'll be fine. She'll be fine. As long as these engines are still down here, I can use them to help her climb up.
I mean, I'd be more worried about how she's gonna... or they are going to get into the capsule.
I'm hoping they can get in right here. I'm definitely wrong. I wonder if I could tell... Wait. I wonder if I could tell this Kerbal transfer crew, transfer to here. Ah, it did work. So I don't need to get them into that capsule, which I don't think they can actually get out of. I just need to put them in the cockpit and then transfer them that way. Oop, shit. Board. Okay. So now they're aboard. Oh, you know what? I guess she's in control now. Rayberry doesn't look too happy about this. She looks pretty happy. She's happy to be in control. He's probably not so happy because now the one who horribly crashed this plane while in a panic is now in control of the rescue efforts. And,
what about the back seater in the...
Oh, yes, I forgot to
F-18?
check if there is someone in there. I don't think there is, but it's a good idea to go ahead and check. No, there's no one in there. So, we're all good. And, because Kerbals loathe to walk in my mythos, because I will kill them trying to walk them, we're gonna go ahead and drive over to Hadbel to rescue Hadbel. And by drive over, I mean run into.
Oh my god!
What? They're fine. See? They're fine.
They bounced off the engine.
Yeah. It was only a 15 meters per second crash. They're fine. I think that would kill a person. You know, a human. Oh, come on. Climb up it. Thank you.
That actually happened recently.
Ooh. That's unfortunate.
A little.
Just a little bit. Pomegranate. It's
Pomegranate.
called. Yeah. There is a naming sequence with those, because this is the third version, which seats 3 Kerbals, and there's 2 other versions that seat 1 and 2. Oh! Ow! He's fine. He's fine. Kerbals are made of stronger stuff than that. I mean, he did literally jump out of a crashing plane and survive a fall of like 200 meters, and he's still able to move around, so I'm sure he's fine. Now, what I can do, now that everyone's in here, is I can actually put the original rescue pilot back in control, which was Rayberry. So Rayberry, see, you get to fly the thing again, and everyone else is just rescue. Now, the question is, will this be a successful rescue by when we take off, will they survive?
Well, hang on a second. Is there anyone left to rescue?
No, everyone else is dead.
Is that because the 747...
So the SR-71, the cockpit crashed and exploded, so they're gone.
Yeah.
And, you know, the second person was gone. And see, there's some of the remains of the SR-71 there. Hey, there's the instrument bay. Cool. And the 747, likewise, the cockpit exploded, so everyone who was on board was in the cockpit.
I mean, I'd call it CFIT, Controlled Flight into Terrain, but I watched, and...
I mean, there wasn't that much control left at that point, so...
What, you mean after you'd already taken off one of the engines?
Well, I'd taken off one of the engines
and
the landing gear on that side. Remember, there was only one left on that side, but by the time I went for the second attempt, there was 0.
It was bent when you started.
It was bent when I started, but after the first touchdown and bounce and taking off the engine, it was, the landing gear came off too. So there wasn't much to be done about that. Now, what's fun about this plane design is technically I can eject these engines at any time. That was probably a bad idea, considering this thing can barely fly with the 3 engines, and now it only has 2. Also, imbalanced thrust. Yeah, I've dumped our thrust-to-weight ratio from 0.38 to 0.28, and our speed is steadily dropping. Our altitude is going up slightly, but not by much. So I may have to ditch our rescued Kerbals sooner than planned. If I had the fuel valve installed, I could dump fuel to lower our weight, but I don't have that installed, so yeah, we're gonna have to make an emergency landing or ditch the Kerbals on top. Obviously, you know which one I'm going for. That may not deploy in time before it hits the so much for the rescue part of this operation, as I've now killed the rescued Kerbals. Fuck!
No, you killed Winnie!
I know! She survived so much! Rayberry is a disgraced pilot now, and must do the only honorable thing, and commit seppuku. He fucking survived! God damn it, Rayberry. You're useless. Now I have to rescue you. Oh.
At least you got something that's designed for that now.
Designed badly? Well, actually, you know, it worked quite well until I decided to discard one of the engines. It worked quite well until that point. Ay. Okay, clearly the solution is to revamp that design. Because clearly that's the only thing wrong. It's nothing to do with my piloting skills or me randomly deciding to abandon the mission. Add a little note here. Note, do not deploy rescue capsule below, let's say 600 meters radar altitude. I mean, because if I said ASL, then someone could just throw it into a mountain. Or should I say, instead of deploy, I should say discard. Because that's basically what you're doing. Anyhow. All right,
Are we going to talk about how you discarded one of the engines?
I don't know what you're talking about. You know what? Okay, I'll add that. Also, don't discard any engines. You actually need all 3. There we go. So our center of mass is a bit farther forward.
That's fine.
Hold on. I'm just... But what I'm curious about, so let's say that's gone. See, that brings the center of mass back here. And with an empty fuel load, Okay, with an empty load, the center of mass is still fine, so we can definitely keep the same fuel load. Except, ooh, that's so close. I don't like it. I think I'm gonna lower the fuel back here just a little bit, just as a safety precaution. I know, me, safety precautions? Weird, huh?
Safety precautions like you are losing altitude, therefore you dumped 2 rescued Kerbals to their deaths.
Yeah, what's wrong with that? I am going to do something that is actually for health and safety reasons, which is I'm going to turn these around. Oh dear. The reason I'm turning them around is because the internal location of where they are would clip through the front too much if I didn't turn them around. But what I'm going to do is, see, now they are oriented farther forward than they were. I'm also going to disable their lights because who needs to see behind them? There you go. Yeah, see, they're not clipping through anymore. So now we have a
It would illuminate the debris field behind them.
We only really need to see that when landing. I'm sure it'll be fine. Should we add JADO rockets?
Is that gonna make it better or worse?
I don't know. I don't know, but it sounds fun. So let me save this design. What I'll do is I'll attach them directly to the engines because I'm sure that's a safe place to put them. And I'll have...
So let's just have a look at the center of thrust.
Oh, it'll be fine. Don't worry about it. This is what ejection is for. Decoupling. So we'll go ahead and launch
Are you gonna put nose cones on them?
I mean, they're gonna be on there for such a short period of time. I'm not too worried about the drag, especially considering they're more likely to flip the plane before drag becomes too much of an issue. And I'm gonna eject them before they flip the plane, because, you know, I don't want to crash on takeoff. I want to crash later. So see, first we're gonna turn on the brakes and turn on the jet engines and basically let them kind of spool up. And as soon as they start moving the plane, they are moving it ever so slightly, as well as it jittering like crazy. We'll just ignore that for now. I'd say they're pretty well spooled up, so we're going to disable the brakes and activate the JADO rockets. And so you can see we're having a nice, good, fiery boost. I'm sure that's not cooking the tail at all. Look at that. In real life, that would be destroying the tail of the plane so badly.
It's fine. Look, they did this with the C-130.
I'm also realizing that how low to the ground the JADO rockets are, we might blow them up, pulling up. Okay, no, we didn't. See, everything's fine, and in fact, they're not even destroying our, whatchamacallit?
Airframe.
Yeah. Oh shit, is that our rescue right there? That's our rescue right there.
Yep.
No, that's part of the Kerning 747. Shit, where?
No,
right here.
On the left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was beautiful. Also, I am overcorrecting for my roll repeatedly.
Gear?
And have too much velocity.
And not enough gear.
Nah,
There
he
we
needs landing
go.
gear. Yeah, we're going around. And this time I'm actually going to pull in landing gear to go around. Oh, look at that. It's almost like I know how to plane. That said, I am definitely not flying within this thing's flight envelope right now. I'm going too slow and I can't pull up enough. Oh dear. I might not actually be able to take off right now. Like, gain altitude. I'm gaining altitude very slowly.
Not with that attitude.
Ha!
It's fine.
Ha! Not with that attitude. I get it. Oh, that's such a great joke. Like, cause no one would get it unless they actually, like, knew a little, at least a little bit about aerodynamics and, like, flight. The best jokes are the ones that you can say and, like, half the people paying attention wouldn't notice it's a joke. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Gosh, this thing really has terrible, thrust to weight ratio. Especially when you add the... Oh, we're coming down close. Especially when you add the nose cone. Okay, and touchdown. Now we're just gonna fly it to, well, drive it to the Kerbal in question.
Taxi. I think the word is taxi.
No, driving. Taxiing is if we were on a runway or taxiway. As far as I'm concerned right now, we're driving. Especially because you don't drift a plane when you're taxiing them. But I am going to drift this.
I've seen people do that.
That's not actually the Kerbal that I'm targeting. Here, come on. There we go. Now I'm targeting the right thing. And what we'll do is we'll run straight into him. See? Perfectly safe. Perfectly safe. Nope. Climb it. Climb it. You need to temper... This is like the worst like mechanism for rescuing someone because you have to like pop them out of their seat in order for the next Kerbal to actually be able to get on the plane. And then you have to have that Kerbal transfer to the front. And then you can have the pilot come back. But let's not worry about that. Actually, you know what I forgot to do that I was going to do? I was going to add the fuel drain to this too, so that you could drain extra fuel to have a better takeoff mass if you know, felt like that was a good idea. Which I currently feel like it would be a good idea. But,
Bit late for that.
Bit late for that. I'm sure it'll be fine. I am not going to look at target view, I'm going to look at surface velocity. Hey, you know what? It's dark enough, we should use some lights, huh? I'm also going to wait till this goes a little faster before I actually try pulling up. And there we go. We got a little bounce off of the ground anyhow, so I decided it's time to go up. And roughly
positive rate? Yeah.
Exactly. Now this thing has a very narrow flight envelope, so...
You're also losing height in the turn.
Oh yeah, I know. But I'm not worried about that right now because my speed is increasing still. So I have the capability to pull out of it.
Okay.
Just barely, but...
I was just looking at the giant mountain.
It's not a giant mountain, it's just a gradual slope that is barely below our lift envelope. Well, we can pull up enough to avoid it, just barely. I don't know what the max descent rate on this is, but it's not great. Plus, you know, worst case, if it's coming up to meet us, I can just put the landing gear down and we'll be fine. This design is sturdy enough with its landing capabilities that literally unless the mountain is particularly steep, your solution to, oh no, a mountain is coming up, is just put the landing gear down. Oh, and the runway is to the left of us, not directly in that direction. That said, it would be rather un-Kerbal of us to land with the pod still on the nose. Clearly, we have to detach it from a higher altitude and have it parachute down while we land normally. In fact, even better is if we can angle it right to deliver the payload above the runway so that it's an obstacle for landing. Life would not be worth it without adventure. Come on. I know I said above 600 meters, but I'm thinking we're good enough here. I hope I was right. Also, it's not going on the runway, but oh well. Not gonna worry about that right now. It's still not fully deployed. Holy shit! It's still not fully deployed! Oh, it is now. Okay. Whew. That was genuinely scary.
That's safe.
I think
you did it.
I should have listened to my own note about, you know, above 600 meters, but oh well. Oh, no, 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 no. I pulled too hard, pulled too hard. Come on, parachute, parachute, parachute. Oh, well, they're dead. I don't need to rescue them. Oh, that is the worst kind of response to that. You know, oh, they're dead. I don't need to worry about rescuing them. Oh, and this is where the place you can get in and out is on this side. So it was usable, just on the opposite side of where I tried to get in. Oh, well. Oh, you know what I can do, though, is I can make sure that I reorient that version to have the decoupling side on the top so that the left side is always accessible for boarding. So I can improve the design.
Hey, you know what, though? They're on the runway.
Successful rescue. Yeah, they are on the runway. I thought they were going to miss. Well, in that case, oh, shoot, I can't load anything to the runway, though, while the runway is occupied. Because I was going to say, well, then we can take off with the next one from the runway with them there. But it's not allowed.